What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode number 15 of our fairy tale reviews. And today's episode is, a pretty good episode because we get Gray's full backstory of of Leon, all meshed up in there. So, leave a like if you enjoyed today's episode. Leave a subscribe if you want to see more episodes. Share it to your mama. Share it to your mama's friends. Share it to your mama's accountant. Share it to everybody you know. And let's get this mother underway. Alright, so we start off this episode with a bit of a recap at what happened at the end of last episode, and that is that who is Gray and Leon's old master, is still alive. Alright, so moving on from the forest, Gray is giving us his backstory, and 10 years ago, from the day he's telling this, Deliora actually attacked his hometown and killed pretty much everybody except for Gray. And and Leon, back when they were younger, were walking through and trying to find survivors, and they find Gray under a pile of rubble. So they pick up Gray, and like a few, hours pass by, and he's like talking, and he makes a vow, kind of like Eren makes a vow to kill all the Titans in Attack on Titan. Gray makes a vow to kill Deliora himself once he gets strong enough. So Gray eventually goes under the wing of and he starts learning magic from her. And she says #1 rule is to strip. And Gray is like, are you serious? Why do we have to strip? And he looks at Leon, he's like, we don't have to strip. And Leon's already stripped to his boxers. And he's like, oh lord. And I'm like, oh lord. And so, because Ur's philosophy is that in order to master the ice make magic, you have to be one with the cold. So I guess that makes sense, kind of. And then they show like this training montage, like Rocky Balboa moments and all that good stuff, except a lot less meat punching in the meat locker. So after this training montage, Gray, and Leon are in like a town square, buying vegetables from some vendor or whatever. And the vendor is telling like, hey, you deserve to be happy. You don't have a man to keep you happy. You don't have a kid to keep you happy. I mean, the best you got is pretty much Gray and Leon. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much sums it up with And I agree, she deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves to be happy in that anime. And in real life, honestly. And so she's saying, yeah, I guess. And in the background, Gray is talking smack about and about the ice make magic, saying how bad it is or whatever. And he says, once I learn powerful magic, I'm gonna go fight Deliora myself. And I can't wait to get away from this ice witch or something. And then comes up, boom! Just cocks him right in the head and says, don't be talking smack about me. And so they go on their way off into the town, and Gray's saying, I need to learn some powerful magic so I can fight Deliora, because this ice make magic is pretty useless. And once he says that, he like strips naked, and he's like, like, why am I naked? Well, not naked, but in his boxers or whatever. And that's when his stripping starts. And then they eventually leave the town, and like there's this purple pig thing again, carrying some hunters, I guess, and they're talking about Deliora, and the last known location of Deliora is in a town called Brago. And so Gray is saying, like, he's gonna head towards Brago, and it's not very good. And so Gray heads towards Brago, and saying, no, you're not going towards Brago, you're gonna die against Deliora. And he says, if I die, it's your fault because you didn't teach me powerful magic. I'm like, dang. Talk about a freaking low blow on So we get kicked back from Gray's backstory into the present time, and the squad finally found the temple, and they notice that it's lopsided, and they're saying it's a pretty good idea that Nahhh actually did that, and that his, destructiveness finally came in handy. And then, all of a sudden, they just get ambushed. The whole squad gets ambushed by the cult people, and they're like chucking these boomerang blade things or whatever they are. And so Urza, Lucy, and Happy are saying, we'll stay here. Gray, you go handle Leon. You go finish your unfinished business. And at the same time, Leon and Nahh's fight is still going on after all this time still. Alright, so now we go back into Gray's backstory. And we go back already in a big moment, and it's versus Deliora. And is actually, pretty freaking strong. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less of her. And she's, holding her own. She loses a leg, so she has like a iced leg. And it's all very overwhelming for Gray and Leon, and she actually cares about Gray and Leon so much, and she tells Gray, hey, take Leon, he's out cold, go take him somewhere else, I'm gonna finish this. And so it's like a touching moment, and he starts lifting up Leon, and Leon's saying, you're gonna defeat it, right, Ur? And he's like, because you're the strongest wizard, and if you're not the strongest wizard, I've trained with you, so that means it's a waste of my time? Well, if you're not the strongest wizard, why was I training with you? I'm like, wow, kind of selfish a little, but I guess. But it's kind of like a in the moment kind of thing. And so Gray and Leon try to leave, but Leon is kind of, stubborn. So Leon actually attempts to make the iced shell, and the iced shell is what Deliora is in right now. And obviously, Leon's still alive. But anyways, he tries it, and Ur's like super surprised, like, how did you, do this? And Leon's saying, like, since you didn't decide to teach me, like, these powerful spells, I decided to learn them my own because I thought you were scared of me learning them. I'm like, wow. And so he tries to do it, and Ur actually freezes Leon inside like some ice flower or whatever, and then she goes to do it. And she tells Gray while Leon's still frozen, she tells him that the user doesn't really die, but they just become the ice. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how Ur is still alive. She's the ice in the iced shell. So she also tells Gray, like, when Leon, defrosts or whatever, tell him that I die, because I don't want him to go out of his way for the rest of his, life as Leon, to go and find a cure to bring me back to life. So just tell him I died doing the ice shell. So she does the ice shell, and she freezes Deliora, and then after that's all said and done, Leon unfreezes or defrosts, and he gets super emotional, and he says, you killed Ur, Gray. Like, I'm very, very intense moment, honestly. And that is pretty much the gist of what Gray has been through his life. And now we move on from the ending of his backstory into the present time with Nahhh and Leon fighting. And then there's like a crack in the wall, and Gray pops up. So now he's in the mix of all this, and he's Nahh's saying, no fair, you already lost to him, it's my turn to do this. And he's like, yeah, I lost, but I'm not gonna lose again, okay, Nahhh? I'm like, okay. And so he challenges Leon, and Gray actually attempts the iced shell. The iced shell, Gray attempts. Kind of Yoda talk, but he gets into the position like this or like this. I don't know how he does it. I don't know his hand position, but he attempts to do it, and Leon calls him out on the bluff. And I don't know if he's bluffing or not. I don't know, but that's pretty much the end of the episode. It ends off with Gray, really getting into this moment of doing the ice shell onto Leon, and he's saying, it's your choice, Leon, either we all die or we all live right now. It's your choice, make it up right now. So I don't know what's gonna happen until next episode. Alright guys, that does it for today's episode, but as you know, I don't like to end off these episodes without a question of the day. And today's question is, like I said, these questions are getting harder and harder each day. But do you think Gray is bluffing on doing the ice shell? If you think so, put yes. If you don't, put no. I'm not really going to say because, spoiler, I already know what's going to happen. But what do you think, if you haven't seen the next episode already, do you think he's going to actually attempt to do the ice shell and freeze himself along with Leon and possibly Nahhh? Or do you think he's just going to, call it off or whatever? But let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, keep it cool.